On today's bonus episode, I give you my thoughts and review Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom. Who you gonna call? If you like what you hear, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, our YouTube channel, and socials. You'll find all the links in our show notes. We sure would love to hear from you, so don't be shy about it. And drop us a line and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the show. Well, hello, and welcome to another review of Pure Screen Gems podcast. This time, it's Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom. I had the chance of seeing this weekend, and stars Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, Celeste O'Connor, Logan Kim, Emily Allen Lynn, James Acaster, Kumail Nanjiani, Patton Oswalt, with special appearances from Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts, and William Atherton. You know, as I was watching the movie, I felt that it was reminiscent of the real Ghostbusters, the anime series, where they kind of took a whole season and crammed it all in one movie, and I'll get to that a little later, because right out of the gate, at the beginning of the movie, they're in action in New York City, chasing down the streets, doing what they do best, chasing ghosts. And at some point, one of the Ghostbusters, I won't say which one, because of course this is a spoiler-free review, gives one of the coolest lines in the movie, and without giving any context, says, "I've got a ghost to bust." Now, for those of you who've already seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's a cool action scene. But when I saw that scene and when I heard that line, it made me think of when I saw the trailer for Beetlejuice, and when Michael Keaton said, "The juice is loose," I thought to myself, oh my god, that's gotta be the tagline for the next Beetlejuice poster. But I digress. This is about Ghostbusters. Because of what was built around Ghostbusters Afterlife, this movie was able to expand the lore of the Ghostbusters in ways that none of the other sequels have been able to do since the original 40 years ago. And I suspect that's why they came out with this one this year to celebrate the 40th anniversary. What's nice about this movie is that the original cast is there for more than just a cameo or just a scene or two like they did in Afterlife. They incorporated them into the story this time, especially Ray, who was part of the investigation, and Winston, who helped move the story along, showing that the Ghostbusters, especially of today, are keeping up with the times. And Winston is helping them do that. Peter and Janine were great to see, but I felt like they were there more for window dressing. You know, sometimes I wonder, did we really need them there? That's what I was wondering, really. Paul Rudd was charming as ever, a delight to see on screen as always, and was entertaining. McKenna Grace is great, and I believe she has a long career in acting ahead of her. Patton Oswalt is always a nice surprise to see in a movie, even if like in this case, it's only for exposition for what seemed to be an extended scene. But he always made me smile every time I saw him. I always think of him as Doug's best friend in The King of Queens. Kumail Nanjiani has a more significant role as far as the new characters go in this movie, where he does enough of a good job with the character that he plays. Then again, everything that I've seen him in, I've enjoyed his performance. But in this movie, he has a role where he has a significant role to play, especially in the third act. This movie is still about family and how they're coping as a family unit living in the firehouse. Though there is a mix of horror and humor sprinkled throughout the movie, it still feels like a movie that has playfulness to it compared to Afterlife, where that movie was more emotionally charged and for good reason. The way the movie ended, it's as if either they were world building on top of what was already there for the past 40 years, or passing the torch from one generation to the next, or ending it in a way that they were hedging their bets whether its box office result would be a hit or not. In my mind, it's got to be a hit. However, it was a bit more stuff for my taste. It's like, when they say too much of a good thing. Well, that's how I felt in this movie. There were too many characters. It was too overstuffed. I remember when Kevin Feige announced the Avengers movies for the next phases, but even before that, people were speculating on what was going to be the next Avengers movie. Was it going to be Young Avengers? Was it going to be Dark Avengers? And I'm thinking almost half of the cast were the younger ones, and they could have taken those characters, kept them for another movie as the junior Ghostbusters. But that's just my opinion. And there is a mid-credit scene that is more of a funny bit and nothing to do with the plot, but it is very funny and it's fun to see. So, in my opinion, I had a good time. It's just that the first half was full of nostalgia. It was just a little too much. But as soon as they laid off, it all came together, and it really was a solid enough movie for me to say, sure, if you liked Afterlife, you're gonna like this one. So I do recommend you go see it. If you're a fan of the Ghostbusters, go see this one. So that's my review. I enjoyed it. I'm sure you will too. So until next time, I'll see you around.